So are you thinking about taking a trip in a motorhome or a camper van, something like that? Or have you just recently bought one? Well, my wife Kim and I decided to take a little trip around Ireland, and we rented a motorhome, or a small motorhome camper van. And as a chef, I wanted to make sure I could be able to cook and do the things that I normally would want to do in a camper van. As a matter of fact, that's one of the fun parts about being in a camper van, is being able to make your own meals and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that I would just share with you some of the basic things that you need to have for your camper van to outfit it. So we're going to talk about those 5 things as soon as we come back. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. If this is your first time tuning in, let us know you're out there by giving us a big thumbs up below, and then hit that subscribe button to make sure you never miss a video. Now, let's start cooking. I think there's 5 areas that are the most important. First of all is your cooking equipment. So we're going to talk about the pots and pans that you need. You don't need a whole lot of equipment, but we'll talk about the pots and pans and things like that that you need. The second area is paper supplies. Those are important. You'll need to pick these up and make sure you have those with you. The third area is pantry supplies. And really there's just a few basic pantry supplies that you need that will get you through the week. We actually did this for 2 weeks, and everything has lasted for the entire time, and it's just fresh. It's great. We have a refrigerator, of course, so that's great. The fourth thing is spices. And if you've seen any of my videos, or you know about my style of cooking, you know I love my spices. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about just the basic spice collection that I have. And then last of all is kitchen utensils. And these are the things that you most often will get frustrated with when you rent something. We even find this when we rent Airbnbs sometimes. They don't have just some basic kitchen equipment essentials that you need. Okay, so let's talk about our cooking equipment. First and foremost for us is coffee. We like French press coffee. We don't enjoy having instant coffee, so we like to carry a French press with us. And this is just one that's stainless, and it's you know, so it's not going to break on you. So this is great to travel with. We travel with this actually everywhere we go. So that's what we use for our coffee, French press. All right, and some other equipment that we have a couple of skillets, and the camper van that we rented came with one, and I just went and picked up another one just because a lot of times you may want to have more than one thing going at a time. So, you know, for your eggs, for, you know, you can pan sear chicken in it, you can pan sear pork chops, you know, all kinds of stuff in this. I did a little fish, I did some salmon in it. So a couple of skillets are great, and you don't need huge ones because, as you'll see in a minute, the hob or the stove is not that big, so you really need to keep them smaller size. Don't get the oversized ones. So those are our skillets. And roasting pans, we've got a couple of roasting pans. I've got a small one and a large one, both with racks. And these come in really, really handy. I've even done a rack of ribs during the 2 weeks that we were here. I did a rack of lamb. And so these have come in very handy. And as well, when you're cooking, you can just put these in the oven to keep everything else, to keep things warm. But these are great. I mean, you could literally put a whole chicken on here and roast it if you have an oven in your camper van. So a couple of those are fantastic. All right. Oh, and I forgot about our tea kettle here. You know, you could have an electric tea kettle if you want, but if you don't have an electric one, just pick up a inexpensive one like this that you can put on the burner. And this is what we use to boil our coffee boil our water for coffee or tea. So tea kettle is very handy. And pots. You need basically 3 pots. You know, you need a daddy, a mama, and a baby. So basically we've got, you know, a large one. I've actually done, what's the Indian chicken that I did a chicken curry in this. the first night we were here, which is, of course, will last you for a couple of meals. Then we've got a medium-sized pot where you can do, your rice, or you can boil things, that kind of thing. And then I've got a small one. I've made several sauces in this little pot, so that is great. Got this lid for this one, and a lot of times, like this, we rented, of course, this motorhome, and sometimes you don't have all the equipment you need. In case you need a lid for your pot, just use one of your small skillets. So those are our basic cooking equipment. That is the basic cooking equipment that we need. So we've got our skillets, we've got our pots, pans, our coffee maker, and our roasting pans, and that covers our cooking. Okay, let's talk about our paper supplies. Of course, you need paper towel, and I think we got 2 or 3 rolls that we've gone through one, and of course we're going to be here for 2 weeks, so we will probably go through 1.5 rolls of paper towel. And another great use for paper towel is this. When I'm driving down the road, I cannot stand pots and pans clinging and clanging and that kind of thing. So what I do is I will just put some paper towel in between my pots and pans, or in between my pans, especially the ones with racks, and just keep things from clanging around. So that's a fantastic use of paper towels. I just put a layer down, put my rack down, another layer, and you can put the other one on top. And you could either rubber band these together if you want to make sure that they're not moving around. And of course, toilet paper. You may want to have more than one roll of that, a couple of rolls of that. And then napkins, if you want to have some paper napkins. And of course, for cleaning, these all-purpose wipes are fantastic just for little messes or little things that you want to clean. And these are also recyclable as well. Isn't that right? Okay, they're recyclable. And for washing up, I like to use a Brillo pad or a washcloth, as well as a terry towel for drying dishes. So, and we carry 2 or 3 of those with us, as well as I guess you call this a mystery eraser, one of these things you can get, huh?
Magic eraser.
Oh, it's a magic eraser. One of these things that you can get wet, you can moisten it, and you are able to remove spots and marks. So those are our basic paper supplies there. And now the other things that are important, we are using these compostable cleaning gloves, and these are fantastic because if you're in a motorhome, you're going to want to take care of your services, as such as your gray water and that kind of thing. And I like to put these gloves on, and these are compostable. So when you empty your gray water or whatever else that you need to empty, you can use these gloves, and they can just go right into they can go right down the drain with everything else. Is that the best thing to say? Okay.
The unmentionables.
Yeah. Unmentionables. Okay, so those are fantastic. And we, of course, my wife picked up this handy little, I don't know what you call this, but it's perfect for our other supplies. I've got, of course, parchment paper. I've got a roll of cling film and a roll of aluminum foil. These things are absolute essentials for me. I'm just always getting frustrated when I'm at a place and I don't have one of the, when you need them, you need them. So parchment paper, cling film or saran wrap, and aluminum foil, as well as trash bags. And we also have some smaller ones for recyclables as well. These motorhome parks are incredible with the way they do their recycling. They are very specific with the things that you can put in certain bins, so it's great to have those. And then just a variety of Ziploc bags. And these are great. You know, we even, you know, when you get some things wet and you want to carry them with you, you can just put them in one of the smaller Ziploc bags. And of course, Ziploc bags are great for your leftovers. So those are our basic paper supplies, and that's really all you need for 2 weeks. So I know it may seem funny, but one of my favorite things to do is to go in the grocery stores in foreign countries. I just really enjoy seeing the display of the different products and the way that they package things. But it's very tempting to overbuy when you do that for the first time. So we're talking about really just the basics that you want to get when you first get to a place and you want to outfit your rig. So we're going to talk about some basics here. The first thing, of course, is dairy. You know, for your meat and your fish and that kind of thing, you can go to the store every day or every other day to pick those things up. But for these basics, of course, for me, you know, it's eggs. And just get yourself a dozen eggs so you can have those, you know, for breakfast and for other things that you might want during the week. And then, of course, milk. And look how cute this is. It's just a little pint of Irish milk, I guess it says. Yeah, Irish whole milk. And so we've got our milk, and then some of this incredibly wonderful fresh Irish double cream, and just a little container of that. And you know, different cheeses. We decided, because we love the Irish cheddar so much, we've used a lot of this. So just a little bit of cheese and whatever kind you want. And then of course there's Irish butter. Oh my goodness, we're talking fresh farm flavor. So those are your basic dairy products that you want to get. And then looking on down the pantry, of course, we want to have, well, you can't forget your coffee. So we've got our coffee, and we like carrying our coffee in, or putting our coffee in this nice container. We carry this everywhere we go, and we just empty the bag in there. That way you're not struggling with it every morning when you're trying to make your coffee. But so we've got our coffee here, and then we've got some flour. We've got some sugar. As you can see, I don't use a lot of sugar in my cooking, so we probably, you know, could have, if I could have found a smaller one of those, I would have gotten it. And then rice. We like rice with lots of different things, so, you know, rice is one of those things that'll just last forever. And so that's great. And, you know, I love making my own chicken stock at home, but I'm not going to do that when I'm on the road like this. So chicken bouillon is fantastic. And, you know, I bought this package when we first got here. It's got 12 little cubes in it. I think I've used maybe 1.5 cubes since we've been here. And just use that for, you know, building up your sauces or making your sauces, and you know, any other things that you need a chicken stock for. And then, you know, your basics in terms of your onions, you know, white onions, red onions, garlic, lemon, and of course lime. I don't have a lime here, but of course you want to get a couple of limes. And again, these are just things to get you started. And then moving on to your condiments, we've got, you know, jelly or jam that you can have with your toast every morning. Got some mayonnaise, mustard, which is fantastic, English mustard, very good. And I actually was looking for ketchup in the particular store we were in, and all I could find was this curry ketchup. It says spicy. It's not spicy, it's British, it's just ketchup. And so, but it's very tasty. All right, other condiments. Of course, you know, I'm a Texan, so I've got to have some kind of hot sauce, and this is what I could find. And this is Bullseye Carolina Reaper. Didn't really taste that hot to me, but it is a hot sauce, so that's nice to have. And then, of course, some soy sauce. If you know, cook with Worcestershire sauce, you can get that as well. And then for salad dressings, I don't like buying, you know, commercial salad dressings at all. So generally, I buy really, really good olive oil. And so this one is a Greek extra virgin olive oil. And using that with some really nice balsamic vinegar, aged balsamic vinegar, fantastic salad dressing. and as well as apple cider vinegar. You can make a wonderful apple cider vinaigrette using this, along with some really good olive oil as well. And then the other oil I have is just a vegetable oil, just for pan searing or for frying something. And so that's come in very, very handy. And then your basic salt and pepper. And what I like to do is, of course, I like fresh seasonings, fresh spices. And so I buy whole peppercorns and just put them in my little grinder that I take everywhere with me. And you can grind it fresh when you need it, as well as salt. And this is just one of those containers that it comes with whole grain salt inside or coarse grain salt inside, and you can just grind that, of course, as you need it as well. And so those are basically what you need to get your pantry stocked, and that'll get you started. All right, we're down to my favorite part of cooking, and that is we're talking about spices. And full disclosure, normally when my wife and I travel with Artistic Gourmet Adventures, I have a very nice boxed spread of about 18 different spices in jars, and it's very nice and all that kind of stuff. But that is when we're going to be on one of our adventures and we have guests and I'm doing major cooking. But when we're doing something like this, a small trip, or we're just going away for a week or something like that, what I normally will do is take my spices and I will put them in very, very small, I'm talking petite, Ziploc bags. But full disclosure, I grabbed the wrong, and normally the Ziploc bags I put in one big fat Ziploc bag. And full disclosure, I grabbed the wrong bag this time because I grabbed my bag with my bulk spices in it. So that's what this first bag is. It's got some bulk spices in it. And in this bag, I've got some garlic powder, some cumin, some celery seed, some onion powder, that kind of thing. But that, of course, those are important spices to me. So when I got here to Ireland, I realized I had the wrong bag, so I had to actually go out and buy some of these other spices that I like. And of course, some coarse sea salt. And I showed you earlier about the salt that I have, and now it's just refillable, and so we've got our salt there. And then just some of the other spices that I like to use, of course, are chili powder. You know, I always know that I'm probably going to make some salsa. I may want to make some chili. So I know that I'll use these things. Smoked paprika is a big one for me. I've probably used half this jar since we've been here because I've done some things on a little portable grill, and that's a great one to have. And then, of course, some cayenne pepper. Got to have a little spice, as well as some chili flakes, and then some ground cumin. And a little bit of curry powder. Every once in a while I might want to do an Indian dish or something like that. So we've got some curry powder here. And then, you know, whenever I'm in a seaside area, a lot of times you'll find salt from that area. So I found this one, which is fantastic, by the way. And we just bought this in one of the shops. It's an Achill Island sea salt, and it's a smoked sea salt, which I found out the hard way is very, very, very salty. So just a lesson aside is to always test before you cook with something to make sure the salt level of that particular product. So it's very, very salty, but it's very, very tasty and adds a little bit of smokiness to your dish. And we talked about it already, but of course chicken stock. I always use chicken stock when I'm making some kind of a sauce to go with something. You know, chicken stock is just great for many, many different things. So that's our chicken stock. So those are our basic spices: salt and pepper, and then whatever other spices you need. And a lot of times I like to travel with some dried herbs as well. You know, herbs of Provence or Italian herbs. If you want to get everything all together, instead of just buying different herbs, you can certainly do that. So that's kind of a basic list of spices that I like to use. As a chef or someone who likes to cook a lot, there is nothing more frustrating than getting somewhere and finding out that you don't have the correct knife, or the knife is not sharp enough, or that kind of thing. So one of the things that I always do is I carry my knives with me. And really, you just need a few basic knives. And in this case, in this motorhome that we rented, I actually have my knife kit with me, but I didn't have to use many of the things in it. As a matter of fact, they had this little knife. It's really a little chef's knife. It's a very small one, but it actually is very sharp once I honed it with my sharpener. So, or this is actually a steel, and it's just a basic piece of equipment for me, because I've gotten to lots of places that have nice knives, but they have lost their edge. And so a steel like this is not going to sharpen your knife, but it's going to hone the edge. And so to use it, you can, put a piece of paper towel down, or a towel like that, and just, sharpen your knife like that. Or you're not really sharpening in it, you're just honing the edge of it. Or, you can do it like this, that kind of thing. But it's a necessary piece of equipment if you're going to do some cooking. So again, I have my chef knife here, but they had this knife here and it's nice and sharp, so we're using that. And then a basic paring knife is fantastic. And then I've got a boning knife, which is handy for me if I'm, if I know that if I'm going to, do some kind of meat, I may want to use this to bone it, or to get the membrane off, that kind of thing. As well as a fish knife. If you're a fisherman and you're going to be cooking some fish while you're on the road, a fish knife is very good. It's flexible, so it helps you when you're filleting fish, that kind of thing. If you're not going to be doing any heavy meat dishes or fish, you can ignore these two knives. Just leave them at home, or don't worry about them. But those are the basic knives that you need. All right, other basic equipment, of course, is a potato masher, which you can use for not only potatoes, but other things as well. Tomatoes, smashing those if you're making a sauce or something like that. A spatula, a pasta thingy, utensil, a large knife, and if you got one with a large spoon, if you've got one with slotted, you can use a slotted spoon for if you need that as well. And then a ladle. Those are some nice things to have. These things were already here in this motorhome. And as well as a peeler. This is a very important piece of equipment, because when you need it, you need it. If you don't have it, it is very frustrating. And again, if you are a fishing type person, this is a wonderful piece of equipment that I have found that is great for scaling fish. And it also is great for cleaning shrimp. So this is it's a shrimp cleaner, where you can just put it right down the shrimp and open it up, and you're able to devein it. And this scaler is great for fish. So that's a nice little piece of equipment. And then of course your basic measuring spoons, which typically I don't really use these, but it's nice to have them when you need them. And then I've just got some kitchen string if you're going to be needing to tie anything up, or cook with something that you need string for, and as well as some cheesecloth if you're needing to drain something or strain something out. Cheesecloth comes in handy. And then I've got one measuring cup. This is a full liter, so it's got all the different measurements on the side. It's great. This is a little funnel that I travel with, and it's a flat one that just opens up just like that, and it's fantastic. And when you're finished, just flatten it out, and it packs away very, very nicely. So that's great. A strainer. Oh my goodness, how frustrated is it to need a strainer and not have one? So I just always carry one with me, and even a small one is fine. So that's necessary equipment for me. And I find that even if a kitchen is equipped, sometimes they don't have working bowls. So I like to carry a couple of bowls with me. And I've just got a couple of different ones that you can use for, for mixing or for, trash when you're peeling vegetables and that kind of thing. And of course, Tupperware. Like we always throw in a couple pieces of Tupperware. And again, as you buy things during the week and you have extra Tupperware, you can just use that for storage. And these are wonderful when you buy something in like a salad bowl or something like that, and you can just keep this and use it for mixing salads later in the week. Moving on, cheese grater. Gotta have a cheese grater. So just a small one like this is fantastic. A set of tongs is great. So I've got this set that's kind of a heavy duty set, and then the motorhome came with this one that's just a small one that you can use, of course, for if you're using non-stick pans. This is very helpful. A pastry brush is great if you're putting on sauces, or you're needing to brush something with butter or an egg wash or something like that. So that's fantastic. Whisk is another important staple for making your eggs or what have you. Of course, you could use a fork as well, but if you're trying to make a sauce or something like that, it's nice to have a whisk, and this is just a medium-sized one. And then a silicone spatula is another great addition just to have. And this one is wonderful because it's got all of your little measurements on it, and it's got your conversions as well. So that's fantastic. And I use this, just an Exoglass spatula that is just an all-purpose spatula. I use this for everything. As you can see, it's pretty well worn. And now, a lot of times for me, I'm always needing to mix something up or to blend something. And in this case, the first day that I got here, I wanted to make salsa because I know that for every other meal, we're going to want some salsa. I'm a Texan after all. So instead of bringing a big blender or something like that, I like to use my submersible blender. So this thing is so wonderful because if you make soups, and you can just stick this in the pot and blend that soup up. But it also comes with this separate bowl that has this attachment where you could, like the first day I got here, I made some salsa, put my onions and garlic and tomatoes in there, and then just used my blender attachment to blend it. And it actually fits snugly, and that works just fantastic. So that's a necessary piece of equipment for me. All right, and then a probe, a temperature probe, and of course you can just use the manual instant read thermometers, which are great. I literally couldn't find mine before we left home, so I just grabbed the one that I normally cook with. So this is a higher end digital one, but really just a little manual self-read thermometer is perfect. That's all you really need. And then just to finish up, of course, we've got a couple of cutting boards. We've got one larger one and one smaller one, in case you're needing to cut up a lemon or a lime or something like that. And gosh, I think that pretty much wraps up the equipment. And again, all of these things can fit into a nice bag pretty easily. And depending on the motorhome that you rent, or if you're buying this, these are things that can stay in the motorhome. So that wraps up the equipment, and that should get you started. One of the things that I was worried about when we rented this motorhome was the fact that it's got such a small kitchen. But I'm telling you, I've been able to do everything I wanted to with it. So first of all, I don't use a lot of do a lot of microwave cooking, but it's got a microwave here, which is quite powerful, by the way. If you want to heat up your milk for coffee, that's fantastic. But also, I found that because you've got a propane tank that you're using for your oven here, what I did is I wanted to make baked potatoes the other night. So what I did is I, at the suggestion of my wife, is I started my baked potatoes in the microwave for about 15 minutes, and then I finished them in the oven, and it worked out just fantastic. So That's a great way to use your microwave. But just taking a look at this kitchen, I was worried because it's a little bit, it's pretty small, but it's got everything you need. This little hob has 3 burners. It's 1, 2, 3 right there. You've got a larger one and then a couple of smaller ones. And then you've got a little oven. A lot of these motorhomes don't come with ovens, but for me it's really a necessity. So it's a small little oven. And again, this all works off of a propane tank that you have with the motorhome. And then you've got your drawer with for your utensils. And under here is where all your pots and pans are. And another really cool thing for this is that you've got a top here that can be a work surface, but when you open it up, it's your sink, and you can keep all your products for your sink in there. And then when you don't need that, you just close it down, and you've got that there. And it also has this really cool little plug in the back if you need to, use your submersible blender or something like that. So that comes in really, really handy as well. And it's got this little bitty small refrigerator. It's basically a dorm-sized refrigerator, and it has a little freezer compartment up top, but that works, and it does everything you need. So that's really all you need to make some fantastic meals. And I hope you enjoy your motorhome experience, and I hope this video has given you some ideas if you're just outfitting your mobile home for the first time, and or if you are just wondering what is the basic equipment you need for your motorhome. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button down below, give us a thumbs up, and be sure and subscribe to our channel. It's absolutely free, and when you subscribe, ring the bell to make sure you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Okay, tell me when it's level. How's that? Whoop. Okay, hang on. Alrighty.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, is that good?
Perfect.
Okay.